He went to New Hampshire. And when he got to New Hampshire, he went to visit a guy at his house, right? And he tells this guy that he needs his time to think. So he kicks the man out of his own home. So now the guy has given up his home to Chille. This guy's at a hotel. He comes back at 6:15 and allegedly he finds certain paraphernalias, and I will leave it at that. And this guy had a total fucking meltdown and kicked Chille straight out of his home.
Declaration of witness. I'm a United States veteran and currently employed as a hedge fund manager based in New Hampshire. To be crystal clear, Chille never asked or demanded that I leave my home, nor did I stay at a hotel. I never returned from any hotel to find drug paraphernalia in my house. I never kicked him out. None of these allegations are true, not in whole or in part.
Later on that day, he posts a video that shows the assault. Chille sees the video and tells Josh, take it down. Josh has to take it down. I'm going to tell the story. As far as I know, this is what has been alleged to me. Chille pulls the car over and tells Josh that he's not going to post that video, because if he does post that video, he's going to tell Josh's parole officer that Josh was all up and down Mass Avenue doing tons of illegal narcotics in the presence of Chille.
So then when Chille moved on to the next one and found himself some investors in his app. So I'm sitting in the car with Chille. He's talking to his cousin about making this app, and he has this big investor that's going to invest in the app. And his cousin's saying, like, realistically, that doesn't work. Like, YouTube isn't that simple. You're making a really complex issue out to be something simple. He's like, oh, we don't need to create the app. We just need to make it look good for an investor. So he speaks to this investor who says, I'll toss you a large sum of money, which they wound up sending him, if you can actually produce this app and show me what it is. Later that night, he's got an extension cord hooked up and he's showing you a skeleton version of Google Maps with little pillow poppers on it, purporting it to be an actual application that in no way, shape, or form exists.
Declaration of witness. I declare as the following. I'm a United States military veteran and a full-time technologist. I own and operate my own technology company and also serve as a subcontractor for a major corporation. At no time did I create or design any application screens for Mr. DeCastro. That did not happen then, and it has not happened to this day. To the best of my knowledge, Mr. DeCastro never received a large investment sum for the development of the application I was working on. What I can say definitively is that had he received such funding, we would have formalized the arrangement through a contract and I would have commenced work. As you may or may not have heard, I have filed a federal tort lawsuit against 3 people: Dale Hiller of Lackluster, Josh Abrams of Accountability for All, and Kate Peter of Masshole Troll Mafia. And the reason I've sued them will become very apparent as I go down the list here, but I want to say something. I didn't want to sue Dale Hiller. I like the work he does in the community, but he was never willing to come to the table, retract his statements, and just say he was sorry, which is really all I wanted. Others did. He didn't. I do want to sue Josh Abrams because I want you guys to see the kind of person that guy actually is. I'm going to show you exactly the reasons why I'm suing Lackluster.
There are a lot more incidents that have gone through the court. The reason those things haven't came out yet is because we are protecting a few people, and there are a few people that we can't allow them to have their lives damaged or destroyed. There are victims. There is proof of it. That's all I can say for now. Hopefully more will be revealed.
That is not true at all. False accusation of having victims in ongoing court cases, falsely claiming someone has victims and is involved in active litigation, is defamation per se. Amplified by a massive platform with 1 million plus subscribers, widespread publication, and exponentially greater harm. This accusation implies multiple serious issues. Criminal victimization suggests crimes were committed against others. Active legal proceedings implies formal charges or lawsuits exist. Pattern of harm suggests multiple people were damaged. Ongoing threat implies continued danger to others. There's nothing working itself through the court system that's a victim of mine. And that is the exact definition of defamation per se, to say that I have victims of violence. In 2020, maybe you guys have heard this before, but I had a huge TikTok following at 750 million views in 3 months. And then I got into a fight with a rapper named Talib Kweli. I went to his Twitter because back then I was looking for someone to lead in helping me overturn Terry versus Ohio. Now I realize I have to lead this all the way to the end. Talib Kweli, I went to this guy and I said, hey, let's talk about Terry versus Ohio. And he said, stay out of black people issues. I said, well, then get on your knees. The first 4 words of a Terry stop.
Get on your knees, or I will tase you. Do what I tell you to do, you motherfucker!
Get on your knees, put your hands behind your back.
Get on your knees. And Talib Kweli then took a screenshot of that in 2020, right after George Floyd had been killed, and sent it off to 1,000 different blue-checked influencers on Twitter. I had a mob of people come at me calling me a racist. It was the most surreal experience. Now, if someone says, oh, you're racist, they go, oh yeah, me too, ha. Now, calling someone a racist doesn't ruin them because we know what it is. It's what it's used for. This guy right here is called That Dinesh Guy. He is the foremost expert besides Tizzy Yint on tracking down racists. And when all this was going on about November 3rd, 2020, this guy right here, That Dinesh Guy, he called me. I have the phone call recorded. I keep a record of everything. He said to me, do you know who I am? I said, I have no idea. Who is this? He said, I'm That Dinesh Guy. I said, oh yeah, you're the guy that tracks down the racist, right? And he goes, exactly. Have you said anything about me? And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I have to believe that you've called every single person I've ever known because all of my family members were contacted, my friends from high school, coworkers and investors. It was crazy. And so I said, oh, so you did an investigation on me? And he said, yes, I did. I said, okay, so then you determined from talking to every person I've ever known that I'm not a racist. And he goes, yes, I didn't find anything on you racist. And I said, well, then go ahead and release that. And he said, I can't do that. I think I said something kind of harsh and then hung up the phone. I got the recording. We could listen to it if we want to, but not yet, because when there was a particular group of people who had called me a racist and just created this that I was a racist. And every day since the statute of limitations has passed, I've wished that I'd sued those people. I was going to call him as an expert witness.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. I'm here with the world's largest trash bag, that being the Masshole Report. In fact, Lackluster is prettier than her, so I'm going to put him up top.
He really is, so that's accurate.
I wanted to bring to people's attention some stuff that's been going on. I've been kind of quiet the past 10 days, but I think, as you guys know, Delete Lawz, he films in Massachusetts.
So he claimed that 10 days after Memorial Day that I had been threatening him, blackmailing him, doing something where I'd been threatening him where he couldn't release a video of me that was supposedly damning.
You have to understand that this guy has set up, now Kate, you want to tell people about how his businesses work? Because I mean, my basic understanding is he sets up these businesses to get monetary assistance from investors and then to apply for lines of credit. But once it comes to actually registering the businesses, he lets it fall flat, starts a new business, and then kind of Ponzi scheme pays back the previous investors. Is that about the gist of it?
What he just said right there is the exact definition of what's called defamation per se. Defamation means making a false statement of fact that harms someone's reputation. Defamation per se applies to a certain type of false statement that are so serious the law automatically assumes damages. There's no need to prove financial loss or specific harm. The court recognizes 4 main categories of defamation per se: accusing someone of a crime or immoral intent, alleging fraud, dishonesty, or misconduct in their profession. When a false statement falls into one of these categories, it is automatically considered defamation. Damages are presumed. No further proof of harm is needed. There is a presumption that a person is harmed when made the object of such false statements of fact. The reason why a Ponzi scheme accusation qualifies is calling someone a Ponzi schemer hits multiple defamation per se triggers. It accuses them of federal criminal fraud, a felony. It alleges professional dishonesty and deceptive business practices. It destroys public trust in their financial integrity. That's not an opinion, it's a factual accusation of criminal conduct. And under the law, that's presumed damaged reputation. And that's the reason why I wish I had sued those guys in 2020 who called me racist. Because there is still, in this world, a small fraction of people who will believe that I'm racist no matter what I've ever said or done. So I wish I had sued them, and I wasn't going to let this one pass by.
That's what we're guessing. To be fair, I don't 100% know. I'm still trying to piece together. So what I know for sure, after looking up, is that he tends to start a lot of these corporations, these LLCs, immediately lets them them fall apart. So they get administratively suspended, which means he'll incorporate and then he'll never file an annual filing. So the business falls apart. I've been told by numerous people now that what he's doing is he's essentially using it as a front to get investor money and then apply for lines of credit.
So she was told by numerous people, meaning she called my friends and family, and that's a fact. I have another affidavit. He applies for multiple lines of credit. Well, for Kate to win in this federal tort lawsuit, all you have to do is prove that I applied for multiple lines of credit. And all I have to do is show that I have not applied for multiple lines of credit. Because I haven't. It gets worse.
On products that never come to fruition and then just kind of drops it. What the assumption is at this point is that he's probably using the money that he gets from the next product that's never going to happen to pay back something from the people that invested on the previous product that never happened. But honestly, from what I know about and what I've heard about at this point from multiple people, not just you, he also employs blackmail and extortion and threats a lot.
Blackmail and extortion. This woman has a following of 30,000, 38,000 people. So for her to win, for her to beat me in the federal tort lawsuit, all that would be required is to get one single person to come forward and say that I blackmailed and extorted them. Josh is going to tell Lackluster that I blackmailed and extorted him for 10 days, but Lackluster never asked for proof of that.
And it doesn't fall at that because it gets to a point where he has so many liens on him.
Okay, so once again, this is demonstrably false. I don't have so many liens on me. It's just not true.
It could be that he's just literally like, people invest in him, realize that their money isn't going and is not going to be making any money, and then he has shit on them, holds it over their head, so they don't want to fucking say anything. That could be it too. I don't know.
So that's ridiculous and that's preposterous. And all she has to do is just get any person to come forward and say that anything like that is true. Statements that mix "I'm not sure" disclaimers with serious criminal accusations are not legally protected just because they include hedging language. Courts have consistently held you defamation liability by inserting vague doubt while still delivering damaging factual claims. If the overall message implies that the person committed crimes of fraud, it can still be actionable defamation per se, even if phrased as speculation. The law looks at the overall impression on a reasonable listener, not just the exact words used.
I don't want to bring the attention to the victim that's involved in these cases, and I haven't had time to edit out their names, but I think that
So what victim?
At least two of the people on this panel have seen the totality of the criminal record that does exist. I mean, convictions like stalking, a strangulation charge, multiple restraining orders.
I'm not familiar with any strangulation. I would have to see that.
That is just so ridiculously preposterous. There's just nothing like that. There's nothing like that. It's just Josh gets going on a roll, and the longer the podcast goes on with James Freeman and Lackluster and this troll, the more brazen he gets about just creating crazy stories. I'm talking insane.
The only reason I'm pointing that out is because I try to be fair, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy.
This woman tries to be fair to nobody.
In some of these commercial background sites in particular, there seems to be some sort of misnomer, and so he's actually having some charges attributed to him, and when you go back in the courts and look, it's either not him or it's somebody that has a really close name.
So you mix "I'm not sure" with serious criminal accusations, but she's not 100% sure. But she's sure that I Ponzi scheme, I extort, and I blackmail.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a criminal record. Again,
really?
I think the most major thing would be that GHB manufacturing and sale, which I know now was a diversion, a drug court diversion. Thank you very much, Massachusetts courts. But, I still am not entirely convinced that he's not a fucking snitch.
All she has to do is prove that I've been convicted of manufacturing, distribution, GHB. Just prove that, and then I'm not going to garnish your wages. Let me explain something even clearer. You can't call somebody a snitch or an informant because it's defamation if it's false. It suggests dishonesty, betrayal, cooperation with the government. For activists, it attacks their core credibility and can cause serious harm. Even maybe he's a snitch can be actionable if it implies a factual claim. Courts look at how the audience interprets the statement, not just the wording. So what's important for you guys to understand, the way that defamation is defined is, did a credible source say something about you, and then a third party bring you back that information and present it to you as something that you had done that's factual? And I have hundreds of screenshots. of people saying I'm a Ponzi schemer, I'm extorter, I'm a snitch for the government. I have hundreds of screenshots to prove my defamation per se.
I was kind of tight-lipped about it, and for my own sake and freedom, I did remove the video. And just
so this is the most outrageous, preposterous thing ever. The lies and the incredible lies that Josh tells here, and how Dale is so easily looped into this as someone who's supposed to be an investigative journalist. Never asked Josh to see some proof that I was doing the things to him that he's saying I was doing.
So if anything did happen to me, there was documentation of it, but I want you guys to know what's happened. When I see $136 missing from my
again, implying that if something happens to him, whoa, am I some sort of psycho? Like I'm a crazy person?
debit account.
And now this is the craziest one. No, this is not the craziest one. There's 3 stories in a row he's going to make up here. Each one gets crazier than the next. But this one here is demonstrably false because there's financial receipts.
Notice that, right? So as you guys can see, let's find that $386. That was for a hotel. I went on my account and paid for Chille's hotel. So you can see right there, that's from 5/29/2022.
That's not how it went at all. I have the recorded call with Josh where he invited me to Massachusetts and said I could stay at his house. I didn't know he was the person that he is. And when I got there, the tune changed to "you can't stay with me because my mom." Then he says, well, let me put the card down for your room. He does pay for one of the 3 nights I stayed there. But then watch these receipts. That was
for a 2-night stay so he could go out and film with us.
There's no us. It's just Josh. It's an argumentative fallacy. It's us over here and we're against you.
Shortly after the Kate incident happened, right after the Kate incident happened, I look at my account and I see this $130.69 charge, which is strange because I didn't pay for his room. I call up the place and I'm told that he used my card. And he told me, oh no, I gave them my card information and they just must have made a mistake. I spoke to the woman at the front desk. She was very clear. First of all, this kind of mistake cannot happen because if he's swiping a new card versus just recharging a card that's in the system, it's 2 separate prompts. So that couldn't have been a mistake. Secondly, she said straight up, he was very clear, charge the card on file. So now we have all these issues of dishonesty.
So that's not true at all. There's the money. I paid for my own room. He paid for 1 night. And then there's the payback money of the $130 plus $75 for my half of food. It's just provable.
Buddy, you beat a woman, and when you beat a woman, you threatened me with imprisonment, even though you hate imprisonment and you hate the cops, but you ran to them pretty quickly. And then you stole from me, and now you're Ponzi scheming everyone, and you're trying to take over my home. That's what the divisiveness was.
The narrative that these guys wanted to get going was that I had attacked this woman that I'm suing for defamation. And so they say things that are completely defamation because there was 50 cops there and they did not like me or Josh at all whatsoever. False accusation of public assault in front of police. Falsely claiming someone committed assault in front of police officers without arrest is defamation per se. This accusation is self-contradictory and obviously false because police are largely required to arrest for witnessed domestic violence or assault. No arrest equals no crime occurred in their presence. The claim defies basic police procedure and common sense. Multiple defamation categories are violated. Criminal conduct, assault is a serious crime, professional harm, destroys reputation and moral character, implies violence against women.
Beating up is kind of, that I wouldn't call it beating up.
That he's got his van backed into my driveway with an extension cord running out of the sunroof, and it's plugged into my, and I'm wondering why the Wi-Fi isn't working.
It's ridiculous. And the crazy part about me watching this is that the more it goes on, the longer it goes, the more Dale is so easily gaslit, so easily led by these guys who are, spurring the charge that I'm the worst person in the whole wide world.
When we went on recess, he immediately started messaging me while I was outside during the court recess.
Once again, it's demonstrably false. I got a restraining order on the woman I'm suing in this video. When I went to the restraining order hearing, Josh was there for her. Yeah. But Josh is claiming here that during the recess of the restraining order hearing, that I started blowing him up on text message. So all Josh has to do to beat my defamation charge is show those text messages. And surely Lackluster would have asked for them.
I just haven't went public with any of the stuff that's been going on,
Right.
But this stuff has been going on for 10 days.
He made this video about June 10th, June 9th. I was within 1 week of my statute of limitations. What stuff's been going on for 10 days? There's receipts of everything now. So in which way were you being threatened? This stuff has been going on for 10 days? Got a receipt of that, Josh?
Apparently, I am a snake in the grass because I released a video of him beating up a chick, and I wouldn't hide that video.
Falsely claiming I beat a chick up is defamation per se.
He has this long substantiated history of blackmailing people.
All Josh has to do is get one person, just one person in the world to say that I blackmailed them. And then my lawsuit is gone. I lose. Here's a call to anybody I've ever blackmailed. Step forward now.
And it's not just that. After he left me,
this is a crazy story. This is insane.
He went to New Hampshire. And when he got to New Hampshire, he went to visit a guy at his house, right? And he tells this guy that he needs his time to think. So he kicks the man out of his own home. So now the guy has given up his home to Chille. This guy's at a hotel. He comes back at 6:15 and allegedly he finds certain paraphernalias. And I will leave it at that. And this guy had a total fucking meltdown and kicked Chille straight out of his home.
Declaration of witness. I'm a United States veteran and currently employed as a hedge fund manager based in New Hampshire. I make this declaration based on personal knowledge and am willing to testify under oath to the facts stated herein. On the day following Memorial Day 2022, my friend and associate Jose ChilleDeCastro came to visit me at my home in New Hampshire. This was the first time visiting me there and I was glad to host him. Upon his arrival, I greeted him and welcomed him into my home. I introduced him to my adult children, my son and daughter, before we settled in. Later that evening, Chille and I went to a local establishment for dinner and a drink. Chille rarely drinks alcohol, so I considered it a gesture of friendship that he had a drink with me. We each had 2 drinks, and afterwards, we walked back to my home together. I set up a spare room for Chille to sleep in. The next morning, we all woke up around 8:30 a.m. My daughter had made breakfast, and the 4 of us, myself, my son, my daughter, and Chille, shared a meal. Chille informed me that he had other business to attend to while in New Hampshire, and I walked him to the door, shook his hand, and gave him a double tap hug. I invited him to stay another night, which he politely declined. He then departed. That is the full extent of what occurred during the approximate 18 hours Chille was with me in New Hampshire. I was later made aware of a video circulating online that misrepresents these events. I was shocked by the content and immediately told Chille I would provide this written declaration and testify to the truth. To be crystal clear, Chille never asked or demanded that I leave my home, nor did I stay at a hotel. I never returned from any hotel to find drug paraphernalia in my house. I never kicked him out. None of these allegations are true, not in whole or in part. Both of my children are young adults and were present throughout the visit. If requested by the court, I will ask them to provide written statements confirming these facts. I declare this under penalty of perjury in the laws of the United States and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that the foregoing is true and correct. When I saw the story that Josh created, it was beside myself. I couldn't believe the story Josh was making up. He did it with one of the most credible human beings on earth. You don't know my buddy, but he is extraordinarily successful. If you don't know what a hedge fund manager is, it's someone who manages the assets of billionaires and 100 millionaires. And my buddy, when I said to him, okay, almost 3 years later, I said, hey man, listen, I'm going to sue. Do you mind at all writing me something? And do you mind at all testifying for me? And he said, I have no problem with it. And I will gladly do it for you. Because the truth doesn't have any boundaries. There's no limits to what the truth is. The truth is the truth. It gets even crazier. And he does it again and references another man who is also this salt of the earth human being. Listen.
So then when Chille moved on to the next one and found himself some investors in his app. So I'm sitting in the car with Chille and he's talking to his cousin about making this app. And he has this big investor that's going to invest in the app. And his cousin's saying, like, realistically, that doesn't work. Like, YouTube isn't that simple. You're making a really complex issue out to be something simple. He's like, oh, we don't need to create the app. We just need to make it look good for an investor. So he speaks to this investor who says, I'll toss you a large sum of money, which they wound up sending him, if you can actually produce this app and show me what it is. Later that night, he's got an extension cord hooked up and he's showing you a skeleton version of Google Maps with little pillow poppers on it, purporting it to be an actual application that in no way, shape, or form exists.
Declaration of witness. I declare as the following. I'm a United States military veteran and a full-time technologist. I own and operate my own technology company and also serve as a subcontractor for a major corporation. I am the cousin of Jose DeCastro. I submit this declaration under penalty of perjury in response to a video that was brought to my attention. I take my oath to the Constitution and swearing under penalty of perjury as seriously as a heart attack. I have been in wars and have seen men die. In situations like those, all you have is your word. I will not break mine for my cousin or for anyone else. On or about Memorial Day 2022, I had a 30-minute conversation with my cousin regarding an app we had been collaborating on for over a year. I was aware during that call that Josh Abrams was listening in, so I took the opportunity to educate both men on the complexities of the application Mr. DeCastro was seeking to build. The conversation was productive, and I ended the call feeling confident that I had explained the expansive and technically complex nature of software development. At no time did I create or design any application screens for Mr. DeCastro. That did not happen then, and it has not happened to this day. To the best of my knowledge, Mr. DeCastro never received a large investment sum for the development of the application I was working on. What I can say definitively is that had he received such funding, we would have formalized the arrangement through a contract and I would have commenced work. I am a full stack developer, fully capable of handling both front-end and back-end application development. I'm also a website expert and can build systems in virtually any programming language. The allegation that I created what were referred to as pillow popper screens is not only false, it is an insult to any competent technologist. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States that the foregoing is true and correct. I'm willing to be deposed and testify under oath to the facts stated above. Executed, redacted in Arizona. Just incredible. And the longer he goes, he just can't stop himself. And there's no receipts for the things that he claims about me. There's no receipts for liens or extortions or blackmails or, I've been so angry with Dale for so long, lackluster, for going along with these guys. Now, James Freeman was one of the leaders of this, the Hate Chille campaign, Hate Chille train. And when I was in jail, James Freeman and I spoke, and he made a video pointing people to my fundraiser and pointing out the injustices that happened to me. When we got out of jail, we spoke at length. I recorded the phone call. James said that he was deeply sorry for what he did. And he was just going hard on me. And look, I see it as someone who saw some competition, and boys will be boys. But it went too far. And had James and I not spoken and he apologized, I would sue him too. Because people cannot bully or defame you and get away with it. And that's really all I wanted from Dale. I wanted him to come to Jesus and say, look, we're in the same space. And here's the worst part about it. Dale and I got along fine. We didn't talk a lot. We weren't best friends at all. We had 3 conversations, maybe 4 conversations in total. But we got along just fine until it became this popular thing to try to hate on me and look at the things that are being made up about me. So now you have people going, man, he's a Ponzi schemer, he's a hustler, he's stealing people's money. And so it became this thing. And now listen to this part, and I feel bad for Dale. You got gaslit, and this is the reason why I'm suing him.
Lackluster. He tried to endear himself. That's what a con does, right? Like when you go out with them, they'll spend all the money. They'll make themselves look really good. They will be the most lovable person you have ever met. So then later down the line, they can either ask you something in return, they can ask you quid pro quo, or they can try and push you into doing something. If you don't do it, out comes the blackmail, right? That was one.
He's literally defining himself. And it's exactly what he tried to do when I was in Boston, tried to pay for everything. I was like, no, dude. You see, I sent him back the money for the hotel room, the $130 plus the $75 for food or whatever. Like, he describes himself so perfectly right there.
Wonderful. He threatened to go to Lackluster's home.
Cool.
So, Dale, this part right here, dude. You're going to hear in a second a phone call. I called Dale and tried to get him to understand. I never said I was going to go to your house. Like, I don't know. Dale didn't ask for any receipts. And I put a clip of the phone call in here.
I don't know what your
Official warning.
So this is the phone call.
I called you up to say, let's have a debate. I don't know.
And I'm telling you, don't play dumb with recording. People call me when you tell them things.
But what I tell them, why would I ever go near your home, dude? You got a wife and kids and a family. Why would I ever go near you?
If you have no reason, then good. You'll have no reason to be there, and that's it. I'm just letting you know
come on,
that if you step on my property, it will be defended. No, stop.
Slow back. Can we slow
Stop.
down a little bit, though?
Just agree.
Can we slow
Stop.
down a little bit, though?
Just agree that you will not step on my property, or you understand that it will be defended.
But why would I go near you?
I don't care if you know it or if you obtain it later. You have no right or a permission to ever step on my property. Do you understand?
He was completely gaslit. He had accepted hook, line, and sinker. And you hear me on the phone going, "Hey, can you slow down, man? Can you take it easy? Can we talk for a second?" But number one, he wanted to hate me. And number two, he wanted to believe that I was threatening to go to his house. Dale, I don't know where you live, and nobody that you know is going to give me your address. It's just, but this is what happens when you get this mob gang mentality of people, and they're going to gang up on you. And Dale wasn't thinking clearly. Now here's what he's going to say about that to his audience of millions.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't conflate like him endearing himself to me and his threat to come to my home. Those are two very separate issues.
And I resent that. I never tried to endear myself to you, Dale. My phone calls with you are recorded. And hopefully you recorded them too, but I did. I never tried to endear myself to you. I tried to get you to talk more about Terry versus Ohio. That's what I did.
It is
Right.
the reason why I told him don't ever contact me again. I want to kind of give you
Yeah, he told me to never contact him again after he believed I was going to his house.
guys my history that I've had with this guy. He reached out to me when he was still on TikTok, and
Yes.
at first, just like everybody
To talk about Terry versus Ohio.
else, I'm like, oh, cool. The message seems kind of neat, and in fact, I kind of agree with a lot of what he's saying and some of the goals that he has. Right, this is way back in the beginning. So anyway, that goes back and forth with like I Speak telling him he's going to choke out I Speak's wife and stuff like that. I don't know if any of this is true.
Once again, you cannot make a disclaimer with a serious claim of criminality and then say, well, I don't know if it's true though. You have an audience of millions.
Comes onto YouTube, and you know, I donated a bunch of money for you know, to help with whatever he was doing in Ironton, because it seemed like he was doing something really good.
I really hated him for betraying me and jumping on that bandwagon. When we did talk, we had several good conversations.
James called him a statist, and then I was like, well, yeah, I agree, he's a statist. And I said that in some other chat, and Chille saw it, and then he said it hurt his feeling. And I said, well, you are a statist. And he said, well, debate me. And I said, okay.
This whole thing of I'm a statist began. And look, you know, James Freeman and I have he said he was sorry. I have it recorded. I appreciate that. I have no beef with the guy. We're not buddies. We're not going to be friends. We're in the same business. And so essentially that makes you competition. But anyway, they started this thing where I was a statist because I'm running for governor. And I debated Freeman. And I think the people should see that debate, and then they can decide what they think. And then after that, as soon as that debate was over, then the whole like, Chille's a terrible, terrible human being began. And that's why I said earlier, Dale wanted to hate me, because that's what happened after that debate, is I'm a terrible, terrible, awful, god-awful person, like I'm borderline evil. Like Satan almost was my brother. Like that was kind of the mantra that some of these people had created.
Then I see Josh's video.
Okay, now this is here comes the creme de la creme of stories from Josh.
And when I first saw Josh's video, I had very many questions, just like everybody here in chat did. Why is it so edited?
Excellent. Let's start.
When I went to the Back the Blue rally in Boston, which was really supposed to be a Memorial Day parade that they then converted into Back the Blue, this woman who I'm suing, Kate, in this video, she kept stepping on my heels. And pretty soon I turned around and pushed her and said, hey, get off me, because you don't have a right to put your hands on me, just like I don't have my right to put my hands on you. And what Josh's video does is he specifically cuts out, you can see the edit. You just said, why is it so edited? You can see where it's cut out her stepping on back of my heels, just like you saw in that example. It was exactly like that.
And at first, I thought Josh is bunked up with Chille. Josh is bad.
There's the binary thinking. It was a strange time. It was very strange. The idea was Chille bad. You heard him say it.
I thought Josh is bunked up with Chille. Josh is bad.
So I'm just bad. Which, Dale, you're painting me in a negative light.
At one point, Josh calls me. I'm about to ask him why the video is so edited.
Because he cut out the place where she was stepping on me. But listen to this story, and Josh has a different version in a second.
And before I can even ask him, he tells me that it's not edited, that the video was paused. And the reason it was paused, can I tell this, Josh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. He gaslit you to the point where you thought I was coming to your house, and now he wants you to continue saying defamatory things about me that are defamation per se, bro.
Yeah, and the blackmail.
And the sad part is Dale and I really did get along just fine until
the alleged blackmail.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, cool. So the reason that he had to pause his video in a bunch of different parts is because Josh is on parole. And if he is in the presence of a crime, he can get violated and sent back to jail. There's a possibility. Whether or not it'll happen, who knows? It didn't now because Josh was covering his ass. So he's trying not to record a crime. Otherwise, he'd be forced to report it and be violated. So
that is just absolutely. And Josh is going to change that story in a minute, that he pauses it to say battery. But Dale never picked up on that. Josh changes his story during the live stream because he told Dale on the phone, I paused the video because I can't film a crime. And then on the live stream, he changes his position. But Dale never calls it out. And
his video misses a bunch of the assaults on Kate.
So that, you can't say that, Dale. You can't say that I assaulted a woman in front of 40 cops who I had been saying, look out, kids, because some of these cops could be pedophiles. And then in that same area, Rights On made a video about it. In that same area I was in later, they found the cops had been poking children. That's a fact. He claims right there that I assaulted a woman in front of the police who hated me.
So his video misses a bunch of the assaults on Kate.
So false accusation that I committed assault in front of cops. I read this before.
Chille says she assaulted him by falling on him, but it's not in the video. Then I see Josh's video. And when I first saw Josh's video, I had very many questions, just like everybody here in chat did. Why is it so edited?
Excellent. Let's start.
So that he could cut that part out.
Chille has on multiple occasions and defamed me in front of live audiences.
Okay, so let me explain to you guys what that is. He said I publicly defamed him, which is not true. Defamation is not what Dale thinks it is, and he'll prove he doesn't know it is in a second. But when all these guys were attacking me and saying I'm a terrible human being, I'm a grifter, I'm an extorter, I'm a Ponzi schemer, I'm an embezzler, I extort people, I blackmail people. And at that time on a live stream, I said to the audience that I had sent Dale a text about lining out a debate between he and I. And then later, I checked my text messages and I had written a 14-paragraph text to Dale about debating him that I never sent. But I did the live stream in between the time I had texted the whole thing out, and in my head, I thought that I had done it. I was sure that I had done it. I did do it. I didn't send it. So then when I found that text message 2 or 3 days after, I then said, oh shit, I didn't send this. And at that point, time had passed, I didn't send it. And then he said that I defamed him. He said it at that time. So then my next live stream, I publicly retracted. And I told my audience, hey, I said something about Lackluster that I'd sent him a text message about a debate, and I didn't. I thought that I did, but I didn't. But I publicly retracted. And that's not defamation, saying that I outlined the debate for you and I and sent it to you. That's not defamation. That's someone who's lying. But I wasn't lying. I just didn't send you the text. What's really sad about this, and Dale he may hate me now because I before I made this video and I saw all the evidence and I realized how gaslit he was, I hated him too. I really hated him for betraying me and jumping on that bandwagon. When we did talk, we had several good conversations. He is intelligent.
And in fact, I kind of agree with a lot of what he's saying and some of the goals that he has, right? You know, I donated a bunch of money for, to help with whatever he was doing in Ironton, because it seemed like he was doing something really good.
Hopefully he sees this and he settles and we walk away from this.
Later on that day, he posts a video that shows the assault. Chille sees the video and tells Josh to take it down.
That's not true. There was no assault on video, and I didn't tell Josh to take down his video.
Josh has to take it down, and now they're driving around, and
Listen really carefully here.
I'm going to tell the story, or do you think you should tell the story, Josh?
Go ahead, man. You're doing great.
Go ahead, man. I already gaslit you. Go ahead. Defame for me.
Okay, as far as I know, this is what has been alleged to me.
With no receipts, Dale. Why didn't you ask Josh for a receipt?
Chille pulls the car over and tells Josh that he's not going to post that video, because if he does post that video, he's going to tell Josh's parole officer that Josh was all up and down Mass Avenue doing tons of illegal narcotics in the presence of Chille.
Okay, so first of all, if someone starts doing a bunch of illegal narcotics in front of me, I'm leaving. I'm done. So there's the first thing. Second thing, Chille pulled over. Well, let me tell you what I have. I have a $550 badass dash cam that shoots out the front of the windshield in the cabin, and then there's another camera on the back that shoots out. There's also an additional microphone in my car. This is the video of every moment that Josh was in my car. The thing is, and this is for you, Josh, I want to get you, and this is the reason why I think eventually your lawyer will get you to settle, because I want to get you in a deposition and have you lie. Because Lackluster already laid out what happened. I saw the video you made where you edited it, where you cut out her stepping on me, and then I pulled the car to the side of the road and I said, I want to depose you, Josh. So you're not getting off this lawsuit until we come to a real settlement. Dale issues an retraction, says he's sorry. We could talk about getting him off the lawsuit. But not you, Josh, because I think you're going to commit perjury. That's what I think you're going to do. You heard the stories the guy made up about me. How much would you like him?
Chille pulls the car over and tells Josh that he's not going to post that video, because if he does post that video, he's going to tell Josh's parole officer that Josh was all up and down Mass Avenue doing tons of illegal narcotics in the presence of Chille, which would get Josh violated.
Right.
Granted, they would do a drug test and find out that that was a lie, but it would typically take between 15 and 90 days for them to do that and for them to release him. That means Josh has this conundrum. Do I release the video and sacrifice 15 to 90 days of my freedom, or do I just withhold it and try to clear my name and do all this stuff?
False accusation, threatening to make a false report to a probation officer, falsely claiming someone threatened to lie to a probation officer to violate someone's probation is defamation per se. This accusation implies multiple serious offenses. Filing false police reports, obstruction of justice, abuse of process, perjury, false statements to government officials. Why this is particularly damaging: suggests deliberate criminal conspiracy to harm somebody, implies willingness to lie under oath to authorities, attacks fundamental honesty and integrity, shows alleged malicious intent to destroy someone's freedom. The legal categories that are violated is criminal conduct, false reporting, and obstruction are felonies. Professional harm destroys credibility and trustworthiness. Moral character implies vindictive, dishonest personality. Why this is strong defamation. Falsely accusing someone of a crime is defamation per se, which means the judge will presume that the accused person's reputation was harmed without that person having to prove actual harm. Presumed damages. There's a presumption that a person is harmed when made the object of such false statements of fact. Particularly harmful. This accusation suggests that someone would weaponize the justice system for personal vendettas, an especially serious character attack that could affect the future legal credibility. Do you see why I have to sue Dale Hiller now? He's the one who said it. He never asked Josh for a receipt of any of this.
Chille's hanging around Josh's house, showing up at random without notifying Josh of...
I'm showing up at Josh's house randomly. That is completely false and demonstrably false. I have a record of conversations of when we were planning on meeting. I carefully documented everything before I sued him.
Hey, I'm going to show up at your house randomly and use your internet without your knowing.
Dale, none of that's true. When people meet up, they talk on the phone or they send a text message. What I painstakingly did was put together every time frame of plans that Josh and I had to get together. Hey, I'll be there at this time. I'll be there at this time. I'm going to do this. I'll pick you up here. There's an exact calendar laid out. And Dale just says it, painting me in a negative light as though I'm some inconsiderate, rude bastard who would have no consideration for anybody else's time or their home.
Chille tells Josh, because now we're in this little quarrel about this, him lying about the debate, that he's just going to show up at my house. He's going to show up at my house. And, I mean, it's a nice house. He'd probably like it here.
I probably would, Dale. You know, I don't know why you jumped on I hate Chille bandwagon when we didn't have any of that, dude. You just decided to. It's really weird, man.
But the way it was insinuated wasn't like he was going to come to my house and challenge me to a friendly debate.
So who insinuated that to you, dude? And this is the part where when I was putting all these things together, I started to be like, he really just got taken by Josh. There's a police report about Josh at the end of this video that if Josh had one of those, that for me, then I wouldn't be able to sue him for defamation because the things they're saying are true, that I batter women, that I attack women, which, as you know, is absolute character assassination. To imply that any man beats women. You can't say things like that, or it's defamation per se.
Is the way I understand it. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I get from the way he threatened to come to my house. So basically, he threatened to come to my house.
You got any receipt of that, Dale? You sat up there to an audience of millions and said, I'm threatening to come to your house and I don't just want to talk.
Now, subsequently, he called me, and of course, he recorded the conversation. And just to get this out in front of everybody, I said a bad F word that ends with a T during that phone call. He's probably going to release it, so you guys can all hear me say a really bad word. So he's probably going to release that and try to, I don't know, defame me for saying a bad word, but that's all right.
That's not defamation, and that's not all right. I don't say F-A-G-G-O-T. I don't say that word. But that's not defamation, Dale. If you said it and I aired it, that wouldn't be defaming you. That would be exposing or sharing, or I think it would be betrayal. That's why I've never aired it. You brought it up, dude. I've never aired it.
He tried to act like real nice and sweet because he knew he was recording. He's obviously trying to get some kind of dirt on me or something.
That's crazy. You guys heard the conversation. It was me backpedaling, saying, dude, come on, man. Get some sense. I didn't threaten to come to your house. Slow down, man.
Why would I ever go near your home, dude? You got a wife and kids and a family. Why would I ever go near you?
If you have no reason, then good. What? You'll have no reason to be there, and that's it. I'm just letting you know that if you step on my property, it will be defended. No, stop. Stop. Just agree. Stop. Just agree that you will not step on my property, or you understand that it will be defended.
But why would I go near you?
I don't care if you know it or if you obtain it later. You have no right or permission to ever step on my property. Do you understand?
You can't hate me more than I hate myself.
I think, like, I'm also like the piece of shit, and I am a piece of shit. I think, like, I'm also like the piece of shit, and I am a piece of shit.
Okay. Much like the situation with Josh, where there was blackmail for him to not release, alleged blackmail for him to not release the video showing him assault and batter a woman for her words. There are a lot more incidents that have gone through the court. And the reason those things haven't came out yet is because we are protecting a few people. And
really?
There are a few people that we can't allow them to have their lives damaged or destroyed. And there are victims. There is proof of it. That's all I can say for now. Hopefully more will be revealed.
So I waited 2 years and 51 weeks, and I requested to Lackluster on half a dozen occasions to retract his slanderous statements about me. There are no victims. There is nothing working through the court. You would have to have a police report. You would have to have an arrest. You would have to have something. I wish I had sued those people in 2020 for calling me a racist and getting my TikToks deleted. I had people around me at that time saying, don't sue other creators.
Never stop. Never stop fighting till the fight is done.
What do you say? What do you say?
I said never stop fighting till the fight is done.
What?
You heard me, Capone. It's over.
Get out.
Here endeth the lesson.
And that's defamation per se, Dale. That's defamation per se. You can't say I have victims and there's proof of it and it's going to work its way. It's been 3 years, Dale. And for any one of these victims of mine, please come forward and ruin me. Ruin me. Come forward, victim who I beat. Come forward. False accusation of having victims in ongoing court cases, falsely claiming someone has victims and is involved in active litigation is defamation per se. Amplified by massive platform with 1 million plus subscribers, widespread publication, and exponentially greater harm. This accusation implies multiple serious issues. Criminal victimization suggests crimes were committed against others. Active legal proceedings implies formal charges or lawsuits exist. Pattern of harm suggests multiple people were damaged. Ongoing threat implies continued danger to others. Why it's particularly damp. Victims' language strongly implies criminal conduct without explicitly stating it. Victims of court involvement suggest official validation of the wrongdoing. Protecting lives implies serious ongoing harm and danger. Mass audience creates viral reputational damage. Legal categories violated. Criminal conduct. Victim implies crimes were committed. Professional harm destroys business reputation and credibility. False factual claims. Court proceedings are objectifiably verifiable. Enhances damages. Publication to a massive audience increases harm exponentially. 1 million viewers creates presumptively greater damage than typical defamation. Key point: falsely accusing someone of a crime is defamation per se, which means the judge will presume the accused person's reputation was harmed without that person having to prove actual harm. Provably falsity. Court records are public and searchable. Absence of a case makes this objectively disprovable. And there's no case like that. There's nothing like that.
He also threatened me with a lawsuit. I sent you guys I think I sent everyone here the text message the other night. My mind was blown. Like, if Chille's mouth is moving, there's some sort of bullshit coming out of it.
You guys saw the declarations and you heard me explain to you that there's no receipts of me blackmailing him. He just describes himself.
And I looked like a dickhead. I think that
what you do now, dude. And I don't want this to go down this way, but I want people to understand why I sued this guy.
You know, personally, I think he might be somewhat dangerous and could hurt somebody.
You can't say things like that, Dale. That's crazy, dude.
The way that he flipped out on Kate for her speech, and he'll say it's because she fell on him. That's exactly what he's been saying. He'll probably change that verbiage at some point too now.
What the?
But up to
no, that's what happened. I'm not changing my story. You can't see it because Josh edited it out.
And now he's been saying, well, it didn't show that Kate fell on me. Well,
not
she
what I said.
fell on you. Wasn't an
That's not what I said.
accident, because you wouldn't address that either in your chat. But
because I don't answer to you, Dale. Dale at this point had joined in on this circus claiming all kinds of ridiculous things. Listen, you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm going to do what I have to do to defend my name.
If that's the point, and that's going to cause you to actually assault and batter.
You can't say I assault and battered a woman in front of cops, dude. You can, but I told you.
He actually said on
I told you to retract that, dude.
numerous occasions verbally to the police, she's the aggressor. There was no aggression.
I have a video of her saying I was rushing down there as fast as I could, and then you can see she's following me around, and that turned into her battering me by stepping on my feet. There's a shot of me pushing her away and saying, "Get off of me," because she had stepped on me. You don't get to step on me. Some men would have taken it a little further once you actually physically touch them. I don't believe in beating women.
Also have to believe at home, right? What is more of a viable thing to believe? The camera angle that only shows Chille, or the two other cameras
There's not two other camera angles, Josh. There's only yours.
that show what he's doing? You know what I mean? Like, the only,
Yeah, no, Josh, you're just making stuff up, dude.
only reason I stepped in is
Josh, you never stepped in.
because there were a shit ton of kids around us, and I'm thinking that he's going to do one of these hip checks, he's going to push her, she's going to fall over into some child, and then some kid is going to get hurt. Like, 100%.
He pushed me over on a guy with freaking a cast and crutches.
All of that right there, what was said. I'm going to hip check somebody. I'm going to push her. Then her saying he pushed me over a guy with crutches. So now I'm suing them over saying those things. Josh said a second ago there were 3 videos there. Okay, well, Kate, this is for you. You said I pushed you over a guy with crutches. Implied that I attacked you in front of cops. If you can prove that, then you beat my tort lawsuit. But if you can't, Kate, I'm going to garnish your wages. And there's a guy on my team that does all he does for a living. And I'm not going to stop. I won't stop. And if anybody decides to jump on it, listen, you're welcome, dude. Whoever you think you are, if I got you on video and you stop, I will exercise every single legal remedy I have to clear my good name.
You know, why did he say that you edited your footage?
So here's the different story Josh tells. He told Lackluster, you remember, that he didn't want to film a crime.
I did not edit my footage. So when I'm filming, I have an Android phone. What I will do is I will press the record button, and then when shit's not going on, I'll just press pause. So that way later I don't have to cut up and edit an hour-long video and I don't kill my memory.
So the reason that he had to pause his video in a bunch of different parts is because Josh is on parole, and if he is in the presence of a crime, he can get violated and sent back to jail. There's a possibility. Whether or not it'll happen, who knows? It didn't now because Josh was covering his ass. So he's trying not to record a crime. Otherwise, he'd be forced to report it or be violated.
Okay. When nothing's going on, Kate is following me around a parade, stepping on my heels. I'm turning around and leaning back into her like, hey, chick, you're not allowed to step on me. And he's pausing it in between. just think about that for a minute. He's trying to save battery as this action is going on in front of him. And he told Lackluster earlier that he didn't want to film a crime, so he had to pause the... like, this is why I'm suing this guy all the way to the end. All the way to the end.
And moves back and actually bumps his body into her. When we see...
Absolutely, I did. 100%. But I didn't bump my body into her. I just stepped back and leaned in. Like, you're not going to step on me, which is what she was doing. And you don't get to assault me and batter me because you want to. And I got a video of her going, I'm racing down there as fast as I can. He's not going to get away. You were the aggressor. You don't get to decide because you want to get to me. It's amazing to me that these guys helped you paint me in such a negative light.
When we see something bad, we have to call it out and expose it to the community. Otherwise, we're just as bad as those 5 fuck-all cops.
And that's why I'm suing you, Dale, right there. I don't want to sue Dale. I don't want to sue you. But this is why I'm suing you. All the things you said about me that were completely false. And there's still a portion of people on YouTube who follow Dale or follow Josh and will not watch my videos or associate with me in any way whatsoever because these claims have been made about me and they've never been adjudicated. So Josh, your lawyer is going to file a res judicata motion. Res judicata meaning that this has already been tried. But let me explain to you, Josh, what we did in the lawsuit when we initially went to drop the lawsuit. The judge didn't let me drop the lawsuit. So we changed all the claims to copyright, Josh. I didn't sue you for defamation. That's not what was dismissed with prejudice. What was dismissed with prejudice was a copyright claim, not defamation. Save your lawyer some time and explain to him that I told you.
I mean, it just, unfortunately, I don't think he ever saw that my video would get the light of day. But don't threaten me. Don't tell me what I can or can't do with my own channel. I just had to figure out stuff on my end before I could release it.
So after I left Boston, Josh claims that for 10 days after that, I was texting him to extort him and blackmail him, and that's why he was keeping the video down. And there's not a receipt of that because that never happened. I never spoke to him again. I think we text once or twice, but I knew he was the human that he is. I knew that. I decided that I wasn't going to have any real communication with him. If you could produce a receipt of me, threatening you that you can't put that video up or I'm going to get you, then you win the federal tort lawsuit. And people who watch this will go, man, that he proved it. But that's not what's going to happen.
A lot of the background, separate from what happened to me, and his manipulation tactics to go backhanded, and try and literally fuck people over and defraud you. That's what it is. It's fraud.
Wow. Okay. So all Josh has to do to win the federal tort lawsuit is get one single person to say that he somehow defrauded me. Any person, and with some sort of receipt. It's so preposterous. He looked right in the camera and said, I want you to people to know he's a fraud. It's just, you can't do that. You can, but someone like me might sue you.
What did I do? I showed up and I sat in court today and I released a video that if you don't like your actions in that video, you don't blame the person that released the video. You look at the asshole that's shoving women in the video and you say, you're a prick, not the guy fucking holding the camera. It is what it is.
Well, so Josh, the video that you're talking about it'll see the light of day again. The trolls will produce it and put it out. It'll show Josh cutting the film before she steps on me. I think he edited that exact section out, deleted it, and then if you've ever edited before, you know how that works. So when the video comes out, you guys will see, like literally she's flat tire, and then it's cut out. Lackluster, you even said
when I first saw Josh's video, I had very many questions, just like everybody here in chat did. Why is it so edited?
You had a brain and you were using it. I was like, why is the video so edited? But they were just so intense on wanting me to be bad and to paint me bad.
I think it's like a closing for me.
This is incredible.
If this isn't enough for you.
Now he's addressing people directly as a reporter with 1 million subscribers. This is crazy.
I understand. At the moment, it's all hearsay. It's all alleged, for all you know. So keep looking, but look openly, just like pay attention, see what's going on. Ask yourself which city Chille has left without victims, or maybe not victims, but without enemies. Ask yourself what cities he's left where he's actually done good. Are there any people that would stand up and say that not in just like the very recent past? Are there anybody that will say like, yes, he absolutely helped me out and did a tremendous job, and I'm so glad he rolled through my town?
Just one example, Team DLZ, feel free to put the names of people. If I've helped you in your life before, go ahead and put your name in the comments below. You're gonna see that it's hundreds and hundreds of people. It's just so crazy, because it's almost 3 years later now, 2 years and 51 weeks. And that aged like milk. And this is even after Ironton. It's just weird. It's just kind of a surreal thing, to have a guy who's got a credible channel, that's an investigative journalist, that's in my space, that at one time respected a lot. And he's going to say later that I threatened to expose him and James Freeman. They were actively attacking me. It wasn't when we were cool and everything was hunky-dory. It was after he decided to literally slander me.
Get on your knees, put your hands behind your back.
Let go of my phone, man. You assaulted me, dude, and it's on video. I ain't trying to turn this into like a YouTube thing.
He's already been stripped of his gun and badge pending this investigation.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel.
This is just one example.
Pulled my phone out and asked him for his name and badge.
Like, I'm not joking.
And you can see on the video, he charges at me, throws me to the ground.
He said, you're under arrest. I'm putting you in handcuffs. And literally
my phone.
has him on, yeah.
Jeremiah then shows the officers his video footage.
Looks like he grabbed the phone.
Dude, he's
got me on the ground.
He's got him on the ground pinned down, like literally like had him like.
That's where he threw my phone now.
I wasn't going to put this section in here, but I think it's important. Jeremiah was Auditors of America, now he's Last Days of Freedom. But the video you just saw that Dale made got 500,000 views. And Dale's CPM is pretty high, so you get about $1,000 per 100,000 views. And after he aired his video and another guy aired his video, they got almost 3 million views. I did a fundraiser for Jeremiah. Jeremiah received all the funds. He can verify that. And it was thousands. It was thousands of dollars. It was like, I think $7,000 by the time it was all said and done. How much money we had raised for Jeremiah. Jeremiah can chime in on that. Between $3,500 and $7,000. Maybe that was, oh no, that was Eric. That was Eric Trulio with 7,000. We paid for his hotel for the month. The hotel was $3,000. And then, anyway, so Dale made some money on the video. And then when I did a fundraiser for Jeremiah, I turned and looked at camera and I said, hey, I know who could really put in on this. It would be Lackluster. And I said it just like that. Didn't air any grievances that, I was pissed off he'd slandered me. But he didn't. And he made $5,000 off the guy's video. I put this in before I had the totality of all the evidence here with the screenshots. I have like 1,000 screenshots of people repeating defamation to me. And I had to go through and read all this stuff and timeline all this shit. And I just feel like when these big creators who get the big views on their videos. I mean, I get 20 million views a month on YouTube, which is a lot. But when they get a video like this that does this, it's like they make more money than I do from YouTube ad revenue. So I just think they should put in a little more. But I just wanted to point out that, Dale, I've left dozens of cities and I've left there where I help people.
And to address somebody in the chat, Chille knows this is going on, and he's absolutely, it's been known that he's welcome to come up on here. He won't. He's watching on a sock account for sure. Nobody knows which one. But he can absolutely come up.
Josh is like, hey, good point. Yeah, he could come up. I had no idea about this ambush live stream that these guys were making about me, solidifying that I'm the worst person in the world and I'm blackmailing Josh and you're going to take that video down, even though I got every moment in the car. You see, that's why I tell you guys have a dash cam. You never know. And my dash cam holds 400 hours. So this came out 10 days later. Fortunately for me, I didn't have a dash cam that only held 30 hours. And then by then it could have been gone. But when this came out, 10 days after Memorial Day, I went and checked my dash cam. So anyway, they're lying here too. I don't have a sock account, and I was not aware of this ambush.
It was put out in the chat, directed at him. So yes,
but I wasn't
this
watching.
Is not just a gangbang on Chille. He is welcome.
Right. It was absolutely what you just said, and I was not in the chat. I didn't see this till the next day.
He's been invited up.
No, I hadn't been invited up. It's just, yeah. Imagine that I don't just sit and, well, now I do. Shit, now I'm glued to my damn computer all the time. But back then I was in Houston, and we were on a gigantic bike ride with 1,000 other people. It was epic.
He won't use his real account to watch it. I guarantee you he's watching on a sock account.
What's really funny about this is him saying these things. Dale was in my chat the other day, and he got gifted a membership. I called it out. I got a screenshot of that too, Dale. It's weird how Josh calls me such a con man. He just describes himself. And then how Dale says he's lurking in the chat. Listen to this analysis of what Dale says. This is just more crazy shit.
Well, he's here. He's in chat.
He's here. He's in chat. But wait. He's not done painting me in a negative light. Listen to this.
Well, yeah, he's in chat, but he won't come up here and talk to us.
But and that's his MO.
That's his MO. I've seen tons of live streams where Chille's in the chat, but he won't say anything. Then how do you know I'm there?
And that's his MO. I've seen tons of live streams where if he's the center of attention in not a positive light, he stays in chat.
Why would you make that up? That's my modus operandi, which is another legal term, that I stay in chat, but I won't say. They think that I'm a guy named Smile Kyle, who's not me. Smile Kyle is his own human being. Just like every other so-called sock account I have is not me. I come in as myself. It's just so...
You know what? I usually never mute anybody, but if one of the mods want to hit fake Chille because...
Smile Kyle. They think I'm Smile Kyle.
Here's how I look at it. If you're not going to be man enough to come up and face me one-on-one and talk to your community and your subscribers in person, why the fuck am I going to let you do it from the chat? You don't want to voice your too much of a one, then be silent. We know it's you, Chille. Like, just come.
Really? That is just insane. That's just insane. I think it's done. We've been going for an hour and a half. I'm done with this. But this is the reason why I'm suing Lackluster. I know a lot of you guys love Lackluster. To be honest with you, I love Lackluster's videos too. And to Dale, because the courts, just so you know, when I sue you, the courts want you to end your feud. They want the parties to resolve the feud. That's what they want. So, look, you know, Dale, I'm more than willing to settle with you and get you off this lawsuit. I wanted to depose Josh because I want him to lie under his deposition because I think he's an ultimate fraud. And then at the end of this also is Josh's police report. Maybe I'll let that play. Nah, I'm not going to throw dirt here. I mean, you already see the guy's, he is what he is. I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but even the way that I speak now, because I've gone through all these court proceedings, especially as of late, I've been in court a lot for different things, pursuing different people. The court takes everything you say into consideration. So anyway, this is why I'm suing Lackluster and AFA. I'll go through and I'll slightly edit this, take out some of the blank spaces, but I'm not going to take any of it out. I'm glad that I sat here and I did this. It's really hard to be a leader and to be attacked by people, especially when you have said you're going to go into government and you're going to run for politics. That hasn't happened yet, but I am going to go into government and I am going to run for politics. I'll be a fierce independent because I just don't align left or right. And I want to change the policies, procedures, and protocols of the police from the top down. And if anybody says anything about me that impugns my reputation, or if they repeat what they said in 2020, I will sue them. I will sue anybody who actually does. So just so you know, so people are like, oh, I'm going to say this to him. You can say whatever you want, but you don't hurt me. Whereas Dale and accountability for all, that's funny. They said things that hurt me. They said things that hurt my channel and hurt my future and hurt my reputation. And for that reason, I'm suing them. So I hope you understand. And if you don't, well then, we don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. You could stop me, but you're going to have to kill me because I'll never stop. Team DLZ, I love you guys. Put it in the comment section, Team DLZ. I'll get the flock out of here. Later, Gators.